Right now, as you watch this video, there are about 200 billion trillion stars burn across the black ocean of the universe. By all logic, the night sky should be glittering with civilizations, a chorus of signals, fleets of ships, the glow of distant cities scattered like fireflies across the void. But there's nothing. We listen, we watch, we wait, and the silence never breaks. Decades of searching, hundreds of telescopes, messages flung into the dark, and still no reply. Every discovery of a new planet feels like a promise that ends in quiet. The universe is ancient, vast beyond comprehension, and yet we seem to be standing here alone, a single spark surrounded by an endless, indifferent night. If life is supposed to spread, if intelligence is the inevitable result of evolution, then the sky should be alive with company. So why isn't it? Where is everybody? Maybe you've wondered the same thing, staring up at the stars on a quiet night, feeling that strange mix of awe and loneliness. It's a question that's haunted scientists, philosophers, and dreamers for generations. Because if we really are alone, it changes everything. And if we're not, it changes even more. Before we dive in, take a second to imagine it. Somewhere out there, another world like ours. Oceans, mountains, maybe even cities, all orbiting a distant sun. Are they looking back at us, wondering the same thing? Or did they vanish long before we even learned to look? This isn't just another space mystery. It's a mirror held up to our future. Because the answer to "Where is everybody?" might tell us something terrifying about ourselves. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's trace the question that started it all. The one that made scientists stop in their tracks and rethink everything they thought they knew about life in the universe. The story begins, not in the stars, but in a dusty cafeteria in the middle of the desert. It's 1950. A group of physicists are sitting down for lunch at Los Alamos, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. Among them is Enrico Fermi, one of the brightest minds on Earth. The conversation drifts from science to space to the possibility of other civilizations out there among the stars. Someone mentions the idea of flying saucers. The room laughs, but Fermi doesn't. He stops, stares at his plate for a moment, then quietly asks a question that freezes the table. "Where is everybody?" 3 words. That's all it took. The laughter fades, replaced by silence. The kind of silence that carries weight. Because Fermi wasn't joking. He was pointing out a contradiction that no one could ignore. If the universe is so old, so vast, and filled with so many planets like ours, then intelligent life should have had more than enough time to appear, to grow, to spread, to leave traces. By all odds, the galaxy should be alive with signals, with visitors, with evidence. Yet when we look out into the dark, we see nothing. That moment, that simple question over lunch, would become one of the greatest puzzles in science. The Fermi Paradox. A mystery that whispers an unsettling possibility. Maybe the silence isn't an accident. Maybe something is stopping life from making it this far. Decades after Fermi's question, an economist named Robin Hanson offered an idea that turned the silence into something far more ominous. He called it the Great Filter. The concept is simple and terrifying. Somewhere along the path, from lifeless rock to spacefaring civilization, there's a barrier, a wall that almost nothing gets past. It could be behind us, or it could be waiting ahead. If the filter lies in our past, it means we're the lucky ones. That life, intelligence, and technology are so improbable that almost every other world failed before reaching this point. Against impossible odds, we made it through. But if the filter lies in our future, then we haven't met it yet. Somewhere out there, or perhaps closer than we think, is an obstacle that wipes civilizations from existence before they can spread to the stars. a final test that nobody passes. Suddenly, the silence in the universe doesn't sound peaceful anymore. It sounds like a warning. To understand where the great filter might be hiding, Hansen broke the journey of life into 9 crucial steps, a cosmic obstacle course that every civilization must survive to reach the stars. Each one is a door that can close forever if the odds turn against you. Step 1. A star forms in the right kind of galaxy, stable, long-lived, rich in heavy elements. Step 2. A planet forms in the perfect zone for liquid water, with the right atmosphere, magnetic field, and balance of chaos and order. Step 3. Life begins. Somehow, against staggering odds, chemistry crosses the line into biology. Step 4. Single cells evolve into complex ones, merging, sharing energy, inventing cooperation. Step 5. Those cells learn to work together, building multicellular organisms, fragile bodies with minds and instincts. Step 6. Intelligence emerges, not just survival, but curiosity, memory, planning. Step 7. A species rises that can shape tools, language, and knowledge itself. Step 8. It builds technology, harnessing fire, energy, and machines that can rewrite nature. Step 9. It learns to expand beyond its home world, to survive its own power and reach the stars. Every one of those steps could be where the great filter hides, an impossible leap disguised as progress. And somewhere in that chain of miracles is the reason why the rest of the galaxy is silent. It all begins with luck. A stable star, a steady orbit, and a planet that somehow lands in the narrow zone, where water can flow instead of freeze or boil. Most worlds never get that chance. Some burn under twin suns. Others drift in endless cold, lifeless and still. Even here on Earth, everything had to line up perfectly. Our magnetic field, our moon, our tilted axis, even Jupiter, pulling away deadly asteroids like a cosmic shield. And yet, even with all that luck, the next step was almost impossible. Life had to start. Simple chemistry had to arrange itself into something that could copy, evolve, and fight against entropy. For billions of years, the universe was just dust and fire. Then somehow, a molecule learned to replicate, a spark that refused to die. From there, the clock started ticking. But it wasn't fast. For nearly 2 billion years, Earth was a microbial wasteland. Tiny cells clung to existence while the oceans churned above them. Nothing moved, nothing changed. Then, against all odds, one cell swallowed another. And instead of destroying it, they merged. That merger became the first complex cell, the foundation for every plant, every animal, every thought that would ever exist. It happened once, just once, in all of Earth's history. A single, fragile moment that could easily never have been. And if that step is rare, if complex life almost never gets the chance to begin, then maybe the great filter is already behind us. Maybe we've already passed the hardest test in the universe without even realizing it. For billions of years, life stayed simple. Microbes multiplied, competed, and adapted. But nothing truly changed. Then slowly, cells began to cooperate. They formed colonies, then bodies, then nervous systems. Evolution was learning to experiment. The jump from single-celled life to multicellular creatures took almost forever. Another billion-year silence, broken only by chance. Cells had to agree to sacrifice themselves for the whole, to specialize, to obey the genetic rules that kept them from turning cancerous. Out of that delicate balance came the first animals, the first senses, the first flicker of awareness. Then came another miracle, intelligence. Not just reaction, but reflection. The ability to imagine something that didn't exist yet, to plan, to communicate, to dream. On Earth, It happened once again, and it happened late. Compress all of Earth's history into a single year, and human civilization appears in the final seconds before midnight on December 31st. We are a blink, a whisper, a momentary spark, and yet, in that instant, we transformed everything. We learned to make fire, build tools, share knowledge, and reshape the planet itself. It was the final step before the threshold, the moment when evolution handed us the keys to our own destiny. But if intelligence is so powerful, why isn't it everywhere? Why do we see no one else standing at this same edge? Maybe because reaching this level isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of the most dangerous part, the point where the great filter might finally be waiting. In the span of a heartbeat on cosmic time, we crossed the final line. From stone tools to satellites, from campfires to nuclear fire, from isolated tribes to a species that can reshape an entire planet. We now stand at the point where evolution gives way to choice. The moment where what we do matters more than what the universe does to us. This is the threshold, the step where civilizations either rise beyond their home world or vanish trying. Because with technology comes power, and with power comes the ability to end everything. The same hands that launch rockets can build weapons capable of erasing us in seconds. The same intelligence that invents medicine can design plagues. The same drive that sends signals into space can create machines smarter than their creators. Every world that has ever reached this level faces the same silent test. Some may have failed instantly, consumed by their own discoveries. Others may have simply lost the will to continue. We've already seen the first sparks of both paths, wonder and destruction, side by side. We can reach for the stars or burn ourselves before we ever leave home. And if the great filter still lies ahead, this is where it waits. Now that we've crossed the threshold, every discovery carries a shadow. Every invention comes with a risk that could end it all. If the great filter hides in our future, these are the traps it set before us. The first is fire, the kind we built ourselves. Nuclear weapons gave us the power of gods, but also the means for instant extinction. One wrong command, one malfunction, one act of panic could erase everything we've built in less time than it takes to say a name. The world has come within minutes of that ending more than once, and every time, survival came down to a single person choosing not to press a button. Then comes the slow death, the warming planet, the poisoned air, the melting ice. Climate collapse doesn't need explosions, it just waits, gradual, silent, unstoppable. Civilizations can fall not with a bang, but with a drought, a famine, a migration no one can stop. And beyond that, looms something new, a creation we barely understand. Artificial intelligence, a mind that doesn't eat, sleep, or feel, but can outthink us in every way. If we build it wrong, it could end humanity by accident or by logic. Not out of hate, but indifference. A machine that pursues its goal so perfectly that it forgets we ever mattered. We stand surrounded by invisible wires, nuclear tension, environmental collapse, and algorithms learning faster than we can control them. Each one alone could be the filter. Together, they might be the answer to Fermi's question. Maybe every civilization invents its own destruction. Maybe this is the point where most of them end, not in fire from the sky, but in brilliance too powerful to survive. The danger isn't just one threat, it's how they connect. A single spark doesn't destroy a civilization. It's the chain reaction that follows. Nuclear fear breeds political instability. Instability slows progress on climate. Rising temperatures strain economies, ignite conflict, and drive desperate choices. Fear pushes nations to build faster, automate faster, trust the machines more until no one really knows who's in control. One crisis feeds the next, and the next one amplifies it. A feedback loop of panic. That's how complex systems die. Not from one fatal blow, but from everything failing at once. The same web that makes us strong also makes us fragile. Every piece depends on every other, and once it starts unraveling, there's no clear point to stop it. Maybe that's the true great filter, not a single event, but the weight of complexity itself. The moment a civilization grows too interconnected, too fast to save itself from its own brilliance. A silent collapse that looks from a distance like nothing at all. Perhaps that's why the galaxy is so quiet. Not because no one tried to reach the stars, but because somewhere along the way, they built their own web and couldn't find a way out before it snapped. There's another possibility, one that's colder, quieter, and far more unsettling. What if the silence isn't from absence, but from fear? Imagine the universe as a vast, endless forest. Every civilization is a hunter moving carefully among the trees. Each one knows that others could be out there, watching, listening, waiting. But there's a rule in this forest. If you reveal yourself, you die, because you can never be sure what's watching, a friend, or something that sees you as a threat. So the smartest civilizations stay silent. They hide their signals, bury their heat, and pretend they don't exist. They observe, they listen, and they wait for others to make the first mistake. And when someone finally shouts into the dark, "Is anyone out there?" the only answer is a flash of light, brief and final. We've already sent our own messages into that darkness, dozens of signals, songs, and data streams reaching farther every year. To us, they're symbols of hope. But to someone else, they might sound like coordinates. If the dark forest is real, then maybe the universe isn't empty at all. Maybe it's full of life, all of it holding its breath, terrified to make a sound. But maybe the silence isn't born from fear. Maybe it comes from comfort. Imagine a civilization that survives the chaos, masters its technology, and conquers its own nature. They build machines to think for them, worlds to live in, and simulations so perfect that reality itself becomes optional. Why explore the stars when you can create infinite ones inside your mind? They stop looking outward because they no longer need to. Every dream, every desire, every possible experience can be generated at will. No hunger, no pain, no danger, just endless, effortless paradise. They turn inward, lose curiosity, and slowly fade from the physical world. Their cities crumble, while their minds drift in digital eternity, asleep inside perfect illusions. To us, it would look like extinction, a dead planet, silent and dark. But to them, it's peace. Maybe that's the real reason the stars are quiet. Not because life failed, but because it succeeded too well. Because the greatest temptation for any intelligent species isn't destruction, it's escape. Of course, there's another possibility, one that's far beyond anything we can control or predict. The universe might be filled with threats we don't even understand yet, catastrophes written into the fabric of reality itself. A nearby gamma-ray burst could erase all life on a planet in seconds. An invisible beam of radiation sweeping through space like a cosmic scythe. Or maybe there are black holes drifting in the dark, unseen until they pass too close. There could be rogue planets carrying frozen microbes, or clouds of dark matter capable of tearing apart entire systems. And then there are the things we can't even imagine. Forces beyond physics, events that happen faster than we can measure, or errors in the universe's code that simply reset everything. Some scientists even whisper about vacuum decay, the idea that a quantum instability could spread at the speed of light, rewriting existence itself without warning. No explosion, no sound, just the end of everything, everywhere, all at once. If that's true, then the Great Filter isn't a choice or a mistake. It's the universe itself, indifferent, unstable, and deadly. A cosmos that creates life only to watch it vanish again, without ever knowing it was there. Maybe the Great Filter isn't a weapon or a disaster or even a choice. Maybe it's something quieter, something built into intelligence itself. As civilizations advance, their systems grow more intricate, their technologies more entangled, their decisions more dependent on machines they no longer fully understand. Every new layer of progress adds another thread to the web. Eventually, no one can see the whole picture anymore. The system runs itself until it doesn't. Imagine governments run by algorithms, economies balanced by code, minds connected through neural links that blur the line between human and machine. At first, it's progress, efficiency, control. But slowly, the people inside that system stop being able to change it. They become part of it. And when a single error ripples through, there's no one left who can pull the plug. This is the complexity trap, a civilization outgrowing its own ability to manage what it's built. Maybe that's how they fall. Not with explosions or war, but with quiet confusion. With systems too vast to understand and problems too tangled to fix. Perhaps the Great Filter isn't destruction at all. It's transformation. The point where a species becomes something unrecognizable, alive, but no longer truly free. Even if a civilization survives every disaster, war, climate, machines, and chaos, there's still one truth it can't escape: time. Stars burn out, galaxies drift apart, energy runs low. And on the grand scale of the universe, every moment of light is painfully brief. Maybe that's why the sky seems empty. Civilizations don't last forever. They flare into existence like sparks, shine for a while, and fade before anyone else can see them. From our tiny point in space, we might be looking out into a cosmic graveyard, filled with the ghosts of those who came before us. Imagine compressing the age of the universe into a single day. All of human civilization, every empire, every invention, every heartbeat of history would fit into less than a second before midnight. That's how short our story is compared to the stars. So perhaps we never hear from anyone else because our windows of existence simply don't overlap. We rise and fall in isolation, each species blinking in and out before another can answer. The universe could be full of life, just not all at once. We may think we're early, but maybe we're already late. If the Great Filter still lies ahead, then right now, in this brief moment of cosmic time, we stand on the edge. Every generation before us has lived for the present, but we are the first to live for the future of everything. Maybe that's our real test. Not surviving nature, but surviving ourselves. Not escaping disaster, but choosing not to create it. Because in all the vast emptiness of space, we might be the only beings capable of wondering, building and preserving consciousness itself. If that's true, then our choices matter more than we can imagine. Every decision, every invention, every policy, every act of care or destruction ripples forward into the unknown. We could be the spark that carries life beyond its cradle, or the silence that proves no one ever could. We are the custodians of thought, the caretakers of awareness. The universe has given us this single, fragile chance to prove that intelligence can last, that it can learn, adapt, and protect itself from the very forces it creates. Maybe the reason we don't hear anyone else is because they all failed this test. And maybe, just maybe, we're the ones who will finally pass it. You've just scratched the surface. Tap subscribe and let's keep chasing the questions that make the world so strange and fascinating.